You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. Starring Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, and Jason Lewis. This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. So sit back and enjoy some Masonic conversation without pretension. And now, here's your hosts, Pete, Larry, and Jason.
So, Larry, welcome.
Hey, welcome, Pete.
We're up in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Reading, Pennsylvania, yes. Scottish Rite Cathedral in beautiful city of Reading.
Episode 42.
Episode 42. I'm glad you mentioned that.
And we have our semi-regular, at least that's what his proctologist says, Jeffrey Moyer.
Thanks for telling the whole world about my problems.
He's semi-regular.
Yeah, semi-regular.
So you got a deer. That's big news in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was great. My uncle was there. So we both got deer this year when we both went together on the same four-wheeler.
Yeah.
So we're doing a new style of hunting. We're going to do it the lazy way.
Well, you're like 60, so how old's your uncle, like 90?
He turned 79.
Oh, okay. And did he drag his own deer out?
Heck no, that's what a four-wheeler's for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so for you non-Pennsylvania people, deer season is a ridiculous big deal around these parts. I remember I scheduled a big install for the phone company, and I accidentally did it on the first day of deer season. And it was like a $2 million sale. And like the technicians refused to do it because they had to hunt. And they won.
I think statistically, there's 11 million people who live in Pennsylvania. 1 million go out the first day of deer season.
Well,
and there's usually mayhem and death in the mountains.
Yeah. My uncle and I were talking about this Thursday. The five of us that hunt up there, we have combined over 290 years of hunting experience for five people.
Jeez,
so that's how long we've been doing it.
God.
This is my 51st season, so.
Speaking of really being old, we're sitting in the lobby of the Scottish Rite Cathedral, and right maybe about 50 feet away from me is Santa Claus.
Well, that's an old guy.
He's really old, really. And all kinds of kids coming in here. I mean, there's a very festive place tonight.
Yeah, there's a train set up, Legos.
Legoland, and a tuba concert going to be taking place in the auditorium. I don't know how long we have before we get drowned out with a lot of music.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Oh, we're in good shape.
So we got to thank, we'll drag Scott over here in a bit, but Scott Helm, past master of Scarrett Lodge.
Is that the clandestine lodge in District 5?
That is. Apparently that's where they force all first responders to join.
And where are you going again?
Christiana.
Yeah.
The Bumpkins. You did. Did they have to go part-time when you left? Like we lost that tax base. We gotta turn off the one light.
So I listened to the last episode, and I asked you, I don't know how many questions before I left.
Right, at breakfast.
Yeah. Did you get my message? Are you taking the dogs with you?
I did get the message, and I am taking the dogs with me. Oh.
So apparently you're not over your snit fit.
No, not at all.
So
no, I'm like Cartman. I need to respect my authority.
We had this conversation in the car coming up today, by the way.
About him leaving.
About
acting like a spoiled kid.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it.
Jason did.
He did.
I didn't get my way, so I'm leaving.
Oh, man. It didn't take long, Pete, for them to go for the kill.
It's all right.
You know, we should probably mention that it's episode 42, by the way.
Episode 42, and like we said earlier, we're at the Scottish Rite Cathedral in Reading, Pennsylvania, doing a little live John.
So
Jack is not here.
Jack will be here a little bit later, hopefully.
Okay.
So
you know, Pete, when you go to Christiana, most of those guys belong to the Valley of Reading, so I'll get you a petition.
Okay, I can do that.
Normally we would talk about what we've done, but maybe we'll take a break and come back and talk about what we've done this week.
Let's do that.
All right,
Let's do that.
Let's go to break.
Back, and we have another guest.
We do.
We have
to my right.
Go ahead.
It's Scott Helms.
Hello. I knew it was Scott, but the other part.
He's a member of Grotto. How could you forget his name?
We just sat at dinner.
He's from District 5.
I know. Well, I hear it's getting squirrely down there.
It's going to get worse.
So, Scott, what's your job here at the cathedral?
I hold many hats up here. I'm director of properties, so during the reunions, I do all the moving around of the equipment on stage, set that all up. I'm vice president of the Volunteer Association, which does all the vendings for all the events that go on here. We help with all this stuff here. It's going around. What else do I do up here? Oh, I'm in the
You get in the way a lot.
I get in the way a lot, yeah. I'm a big fella.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of tonight? This is something you guys do every year, right?
Yeah, they've been doing it. Jeff's been around for 100 years, so he could probably tell you longer. This is kind of a community outreach to open our doors and show, West Reading and the city of Reading what we do here at Scottish Rite, and this is just a way to open it up and let the public come in and see us.
Very cool. And so tell us a little bit about the building. You said it was built in 84, you think?
Somewhere around there, yeah. They used to share the shrine up on the hill in Reading. And
I think officially 86 it opened.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is this the valley that made Jeff Moyer 33rd?
Not yet.
Okay, the paperwork's still in?
I have 2 years of probation.
Okay.
It's not looking good.
It
is not looking good.
He's a wonderful bartender.
He's 32.1.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it 32 and 3/24.
Oh, jeez.
I'm counting the months.
We have to respect him once he gets his bling, I guess.
Yeah, right.
So with all these new people at the table, why don't we go around the table and talk about what we've done Masonically this week, starting with you, Pete.
I haven't. Well, Tall Cedars, I think, is the only thing Masonic that I've done productive. We had a nice night. Our speaker was it was a very somber speaker. We had a Gold Star mom, same lady that spoke at Christiana Lodge last month. Really moving. We had nomination officers. Ed McGrath got nominated to the bottom of the line in Cedars.
I'm transferring.
Yeah.
I hear Christiana has a forest.
I hope they do.
They cut that as a lumber mill, cut it down. Jeff Moyer, what have you been up to Masonically?
In the past week?
Yeah, past 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just deer hunting, right?
Yeah, deer hunting. I don't think I had anything going on right before Thanksgiving. No, I didn't.
Are you in charge? Are you doing anything here, or are you just showing up?
I just showed up to spend an evening with you. Your warm personality,
You do know that deer hunting in Pennsylvania is a ritualistic experience.
That's why I like ritual.
Passed down in the centuries from Native American Masons.
You should try it sometime.
Larry, have you done anything Masonically in the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I have. Goose and Gridiron Thursday. Did an investigative committee of inquiry on Thursday night. We're here today. Grotto tomorrow. It's the convivial.
Meat sweats. We're all going to have the meat sweats.
Yes. All the prime rib you can eat and hope to eat in the year.
I can't wait to get the gout.
Lodge meeting on Tuesday, which you won't be at.
No. I'm persona non grata. Scott, what have you had going on?
Did you vote him out? Did you officially vote him out of your lodge? How did that work?
I don't think they did yet. No.
Larry, talk in the microphone, goofball.
I don't think they did yet. No. No one's ever brought it up at any meeting at all. No, I have no idea.
God, now that I told him to talk in the microphone, he's overwhelming. Scott, what have you had going on the past couple weeks in the Masons?
Just been setting this stuff up here for the last week. Before that, my home lodge, we did a degree, first and a third, I believe. Other than that, not much since reunion up here.
Yeah, after our fall reunion was the 18th, that Freemasonry kind of died.
Take a breath.
Jason, what do you have going on? You have a lot. You're at everything.
Always work. So doing Scottish Rite Masonry every day. We did have a reunion, which we know from episode 41, but you and I were at the Scottish Rite reunion in the Valley of Harrisburg, where you interviewed the Sovereign Grand Commander, David A. Glatley.
And I wasn't allowed to go.
Nope, you got to pay your dues.
That's right.
And I have done some meetings, but not Blue Lodge stated meetings, but, charity, a couple committee meetings here and there. Goose and Gridiron Breakfast. We had fellowship night for Lamberton. And I think that, and I also attended on the 5th Wednesday, Castle Island Virtual Lodge, CIVL, which is now referred to as Civil. So I was there with Jack Aquilina from Brought to Light and David Illingsworth, and it was a good time.
So how are those guys doing? They've been missing in action.
They have been missing in action because Jack Aquilina has been hired by, I believe, the Victorian Supreme Court.
To do what? Paint?
Yes. Yeah, he's painting the hallways.
Okay.
Well, they need somebody that can paint real low.
Okay.
Low to the ground.
I did see he shared a picture with one of his colleagues who is a very tall young lady.
Actually, she's normally tall.
Okay.
Just a regular tall.
Oh, she's regular tall, and Jack just offsets that.
Right. I said that he wanted to be closer to the States, so they made him real tiny. But that's about it. I can't think of anything else we've really done. No?
So we've got this show. Will this be now we'll have one more recording before Christmas.
We should probably talk about that at some point. I say we go on Christmas break, but that's just my opinion. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we do have one more.
Pete, you need some time to get packed, right?
I do. It's a 2-horse ride. It's a two.
Yeah.
So if you guys aren't from Lancaster, the Amish people, obviously they go by horses, but if it's a long drive, they hitch 2 of them up.
Well, me for being from the 5th Masonic District, I'd like to welcome you. So.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
I believe that you're making a good choice leaving that other district and coming to us.
I've already got a petition. I already have a petition coming in, and I've got about a handful of transfers.
Yeah, you're going to increase membership by 100%.
Yeah. We were actually Scarra Lodge was going to merge with Christiana Lodge in the 70s or so.
What does that become, Scariana?
Close. Digging around, I found an old Monopoly board that we used for a fundraiser. I was asking everybody about it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm glad we didn't do it.
Where's the Scarrett Lodge? Is that where is it in Cochranville? Or?
Cochranville, yeah. It's right if you know where the Turkey Hill is, it's kind of diagonally behind the Turkey Hill and Cochran Street.
Okay, yeah.
It's a big brick building.
Okay, I grew up in Avondale, so I've driven past it probably 10,000 times and just never knew where it was.
We actually made a claim with the Grand Lodge that we are the oldest lodge in the state of Pennsylvania to meet in the same building. So we've never met in any other building.
So that's why you didn't merge with Christiana? You would have had to give up the building?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's an old Oddfellows building. I know you guys here like the Oddfellows and...
Well, it's Seth. Well, no, yeah. Jason's an Oddfellow too.
Just our equivalent of a entered apprentice, yes. But we meet in Lancaster in an Oddfellows, an old Oddfellows Hall. Not Pete anymore. Oh, speaking of which, that did happen. It wasn't Masonic, but we did rent the Masonic Center out in Lancaster for the 40 Elephants Vintage and Handmade, whatever, for Small Business Saturday and Small Business Sunday, I guess. But it was nice to see the building being used for something other than Masonic.
I heard somebody left the lights on, and I heard all kinds of drama about the event.
We got to work the kinks out at these. We only do non-Masonic public events once a year. So in that building,
that building needs to be euthanized. We had our council meeting canceled because there was a burst pipe. Did that get fixed?
It got clamped.
Nice.
Well, I mean, that's how you fix it. You get a pipe clamp.
Okay. I don't know. I don't do physical work.
So, yes, it's been repaired.
So, Jeff, are you excited about the Tuba Christmas?
No, I'm still thinking about deer hunting.
This is really an exciting show tonight. Jeez.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with our first topic. When we figure out what it is.
Listening to
Masonic Light Podcast.
Yay!
So close. Marin, show them how it's done.
You're listening to Masonic Light Podcast. My Oba is the best.
You want to say it? Say, my Opa is the best.
My Oba is the best.
And we're back, episode 42, sitting here with
John March. John, where's your home Blue Lodge?
Downingtown.
Okay.
Williamson 309.
And you're a past master from that lodge?
I am.
From what year? Do you remember?
1990.
Oh, okay. And so I see you all the time in council, or I did until you finally were able to
Until
retire.
I was able to finagle my way out of the recorder's job.
Right. But you're kind of like Mr. York Wright. I mean, you're in everything, like all of us, but
Kind of involved in most everything, yes.
right. So what's your title in what's kind of like the highest title there, highest position? You're as a commandery?
Right eminent past Grand Commander.
There we go.
Grand Commander of Knights Templar of Pennsylvania.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
So what are you doing here tonight?
I am here. I thought I was here with Rose Croy, but I find out that I'm actually here with Lodge of Perfection. Since I can't be here next weekend, and I was able to be here this weekend, I figure I can help them out with the live nativity scene.
Okay, so are you the baby Jesus, or are you?
No, I'm one of the wise men.
Okay.
the wise what?
The wise guys.
I just know you were giving out candy.
Yeah,
I don't remember that from the Bible, but
Yeah, I do. Would you like a piece of candy, little girl?
right. A gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and Butterfingers.
Yes, absolutely, positively.
Oh,
And did you notice the head that's on the coin?
is that you?
No, it's JFK.
Oh, it is JFK. Okay. Oh, I have a bad joke there. I'll just let that go
yeah,
for the family
I thought
audience.
maybe you would.
Oh, so what do you have coming up in Masonically? Any big travel? Any kind of big?
Not any big travel or anything like that. It's just what I normally do now. Wilmer Hall and myself, another past Grand Commander, are going down to the Grand Chapter this 6th and 7th of December. We'll go down on the 6th, and we'll go to the banquet on the 7th. I got to be back to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, so that shortens it up a little bit.
And you work for the electric company, right?
For a little bit while longer.
Okay, so we're getting into that bad weather season for you where it's a lot of overtime.
After the first year is going to be a lot of vacation.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. So Moyer just comes over here and just points and screws us up, because it's all about the
anything
Moyer
to
show.
get me involved in something that might be derogatory.
No, we'll keep you clean. Are you going to be at Masonic Week this year down in D.C.?
I do not know. I'm not sure what time that is. I've never been much involved in Masonic Week. I was down there a couple of times very early in my career and found the egos overbearing.
It's interesting. It's like a bunch of Swiss generals.
Absolutely, positively. It is.
You see guys with every possible ribbon and thing in their uniform.
They're involved in the highest levels of everything. Same guys, same people involved in everything.
It is kind of neat. I've been there twice, trying to see some of the degrees that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those out there.
Right.
And when you get into the York Rite and the invitational bodies, there's so many of them out there. You could go dues poor.
Oh yeah.
Just from keeping your memberships in all those organizations.
Right. And then I see you at our AMD, where we usually meet in a restaurant.
Yes.
For Junto.
Yes.
And that's kind of a unique group. At least our own chapter is.
Junto Council of AMD is a unique group. I was in a Council of AMD up in Pottsville many years earlier, and I was a past sovereign.
And was that just like dinner?
Junto Council is totally different.
Okay, so with Junto Council, it's the men only, and we sit around, we try and pose questions to each other.
Yes.
About, kind of like, well, it's Ben Franklin's Junto questions.
Yes, exactly. When I was in the council up in Pottsville, we used to have dinner. We'd go to a local pub or something like that, and we'd have dinner with the ladies, which is something that I'm trying to get our council to do, invite your ladies. I don't particularly think that we ought to bring the gavel and the books and open correctly in a public setting. If you're going to do that, I think that we should be
in a more private room.
In a more private room.
Right.
Our council has just about 90 to 95% participation at our meetings. I mean, it's amazing. You see guys that don't go to a lot of anything else end up going to this Junto Council because it's exciting to be a member there.
Right. And it's kind of like Larry started a breakfast group that we do on Thursdays. And it's actually just what I like about Junto. It's men sitting around having a conversation.
Yes.
And it's a little bit, we're on our best behavior. It's not locker room talk. It's really, I don't know, it's kind of what I thought I was going to get when I signed up for Freemasonry.
It's not always in Junto Council, it's not always on your best behavior. It's amazing that you can actually go there and discuss subjects that are verboten in a lodge. You can go there and discuss politics. You can go there and discuss religion. And when you walk out of that room, you're just as much a brother as you were when you walked in.
Right. There's
no animosity,
no hard feelings.
No hard feelings, no nothing. But you get to express your opinions, where if you're in a lodge room, you can't do that. You're just not allowed to discuss religion and politics.
Well, I can say I'm 48 and a 21-year Mason. I'm still like the new guy, but it's nice to be at an event like that where there's like you, Brian Hill, Russ Baker, so many just experienced Masons.
Yeah.
That we can pose questions and everybody has tough questions in their lodge, weird experiences with things. And it's nice to say, how should we handle this? Every council can kind of do their own thing the way they want. So there's some that write scholarly papers. There's some that have dinner with the wives. We chose to have...
Some do both.
Right.
Some do papers and some present them in front of the wives when they're at dinner. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything super scholarly. You can do a paper on Corvettes, or you can do a paper on Ford Mustangs or whatever. Some guys have done papers on the history of their lodges and the other councils. And there's nothing secret with these papers. You can present them to anybody you want.
Right. I just think it's one of those things. We try so hard in Masons to keep things quiet and private.
Why?
Right. And these things, people don't even know that some of these groups exist.
Exactly.
But they should.
There are Masons who are Blue Lodge Masons, quote unquote. And as far as they're concerned, that is the only thing that exists within Freemasonry. What they're missing is a whole world of Freemasonry and education outside of there, once they should get involved with the York Rite. And most of your invitational bodies are York Rite invitational bodies. There are not many Scottish Rite invitational bodies. Once you're in the Scottish Rite, you're in the Valley of Reading or the Valley of Harrisburg. You have 33 degrees there, bing-a-da-bang-a-da boom. There are not too many outside organizations in the Scottish Rite.
Knights of St. Andrew, yeah, I saw that one.
in the York Rite, you can go through chapter, council, commandery, Holy Royal Arch Knight, Templar Priests, Knight Masons, on and on and on and on. And they're all York Rite bodies, and they're all invitational.
That sounds like a lot of money.
You can go dues poor.
So we have at the other end of the table, we have a new guest. Now, of course, you're president of the Hiram Scottish Riders?
Yes, sir.
What is your name? I apologize.
My name's Rick Storms.
Hey, Rick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Rick or Rich?
Rick.
Rick, okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about Hiram Scottish Riders?
Hiram Scottish Riders was formed by a gentleman named Victor Frederick, probably about, 10 years ago, John, maybe? How long ago was that?
Maybe 15.
Maybe 15. And basically to support the Learning Center, the Dyslexia Center here. And Vic did some amazing things when he was president. I mean, he organized a 49-state ride where the guys rode up 49 states up into Alaska, visited all the learning centers, along the way. It took a whole month, took 30 days
He's
to
actually
go do that.
done 2 of those.
He's done 2 of those?
Yeah.
So, and did the Learning Center. Then he started a chapter in Allentown as well. And basically, their main goal is to support the learning centers. We do a lot of fundraising, in order to do that. But we have a lot of good fellowship, riding the motorcycles and taking trips along the way. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned a 4-corner ride. Was that?
Yeah, so that's basically almost like a 49-state or a 48-state continental ride where you're just hitting all 4 corners of the United States. So we have another one that's sort of in the works for 2019 that we're going to do again. And, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, we went in October, we went up to Vermont, spent, 3 or 4 days together in Vermont, riding all over Vermont. And it's just another extension of the fellowship and the connection that you can have with a brother.
I believe that if Victor could figure out how to get to Hawaii on a motorcycle, he'd do it.
Yeah, I think if we had enough time, that would definitely happen.
You have to put a really big ramp in California.
Yeah.
The idea, I think, is to get to San Francisco and then fly to Hawaii, ride around for a day, and then fly back to San Francisco and start up again.
Well, I guess it'd be easier if you didn't bring your own bike. You could just rent a bike in Hawaii.
Yeah, definitely. That might have to be a compromise that would be put in place that we could do that. But
it gets pretty busy in here. At your, is this the highlight of the Scottish Rite season here for the public?
For the public, probably, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's pointing at me, so I guess we're taking a break.
Yeah, I think
We are.
Okay.
We'll be back.
All right.
Hey, welcome back. We're back here with Rich from the Hiram Scottish Riders. Any big events coming up for you guys?
So our next big event will be here at the Valley on Saturday, February 24th. We have an event called we're going to have an Irish Wake. So we're going to have an Irish theme party. It's going to have a DJ and Irish food and, obviously drinks, adult beverages available for everyone as a BYOB type of a thing. And it's usually a pretty good event. We've been doing it for this is the first year that's officially an Irish Wake. We usually called it the Winter Dance. So we kind of changed the theme up a little bit, but we usually get about 150 people or so, and it's a pretty good event. We have a lot of fun with it. And it's more of a casual. There's not a lot of events in Freemasonry that are sort of casual, but since we are a motorcycle group, we really don't require you to get dressed up for that type of an event. So.
And are there multiple chapters, or just you guys here in Harrisburg?
There were 3 chapters originally. Now there's 2. There's one here and there's one in Allentown. So,
okay.
Yeah. So some of those guys come in for the event, and we also do support some of the other motorcycle groups in the area.
Do you guys have rumbles with the Widow's Sons?
Well, actually, ironically, most of us are Widow's Sons also. To be a Hiram Scottish Rider, you have to be a member of this Valley. To be a Widow's Sons, you only have to be a Blue Lodge member. So there's a little bit less as far as obligations as far as masonry goes. So.
I didn't know whether you made them be a widow's son to be a prospect, and then you can earn your way up.
No comment on that. We're definitely not trying to be 1%ers with either of these groups. So,
Has anybody told Moyer he's not being paid for this?
Jeff Moyer just keeps running around and fetching new people for us. So let's talk to Carrie. Carrie, this is your big event.
Yes, sir, it is.
So tell us your job here, officially.
I'm Past Sovereign Prince.
Okay.
I really got involved with this maybe about 5 years ago, and it's called Holiday Happenings. Used to be called what it was Family Life with the Northern Masonic jurisdiction, and I understand that was stopped. And if you think about it, if you are not associated with Scottish Rite, what does family life mean other than the obvious? It doesn't relate to the holiday, so we changed it to Holiday Happenings, brought in more trees, Santa Claus. We have a train club here at the Valley of Reading, very extensive train club. Like right now, there's two G-gauge platforms, which are 12 feet by 24 feet. Z-gauge, N-gauge, HO, OS, you go through it all over the building. And that's been our draw for the years, and now we do entertainment also. We have a 1,300-seat auditorium. There's a thing called Tuba Christmas.
Yeah, we're very excited to hear the tubas.
It was started by John Phillips Music Foundation out of the Midwest, started in Rockefeller Center, and just keeps, if you go onto their website, there's every state in the country.
Well, we'll try to grab a sound clip to splice in with I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
It's always the first Saturday of the month. Next year it will be the 25th anniversary of Tuba Christmas here in Berks County. Currently we have 45 tubas on stage. Next year we want to have 100 up there. So anyone listening out there, you play tuba or euphonium, come to the Valley of Reading, first Saturday in December. 5 o'clock is registration, 6 o'clock is rehearsal, 7 o'clock is showtime.
So it's probably not really complicated music.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. But it sounds great.
So, Larry, I think we found a new voiceover guy.
Yes,
Carrie's got a great radio voice.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He's got to understand, though, we don't pay.
Right.
Now you tell me.
We're going to take him in the back and have him record some bumpers. You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. So we have another guest. Who's our new guest?
Well, my name's Larry. I thought you were referring to me when you said Larry. We have
I'm the other Larry.
Well, you're the left Larry. I'm the right Larry.
You're the right Larry.
You're the one that's left.
Well, yeah.
Left behind.
The funny thing is, Larry and I used to work together, and there was another Larry, and somehow we got to calling White Larry and Black Larry.
We'd rather go with left and right.
So, right, Larry.
You think this is our first rodeo? No, we've been here before.
Yes, we have.
So you know our Larry.
I've seen him around, yes.
It's not very impressive.
Well, so you're sitting at the wrong end of the table.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
So Larry, I already have a 5-spot. He slipped me under the table,
So what is your job here?
My job, I'm the stage manager at the Scottish Rite.
Okay.
Oh, that's a heck of a job. Heck of a job.
So tell us a little bit about the stage. Like how many curtains? How many like for scale? Like how big's the production back there?
It's a great production. We have counterweight curtains, which is fantastic. We probably have about 2-3 dozen curtains hanging, and we probably have 3 or 4 dozen that are packed away that we have to put out one, and if we need some for a specific degree or so on and so forth. But the stage is fantastic. We have a light set up on the stage is second to none. We have I don't know how many rows of curtains that are illuminated with various types of illumination to make this a spectacular production here at the Scottish Rite.
Yeah, Scott gave us a tour of the props room, the makeup room, the wig room. Like there's like
the costume department back there. We have close to 4,000. And if you want to see a fabulous reunion, right, Larry? Yep. Come down here to the Valley of Reading, spring, the fall reunion. The character is playing. It's not a videotape that you're watching for the degrees.
Right.
It's really good.
We can probably brag a little bit about what we just heard, because the people are coming here from 3, 4, 5 different states to come and listen and watch our reunions, because the quality of the people that are on stage doing the work is very good. We've spent an awful lot of money in the last couple of years, and we've got new and improved our costumes. The show just goes off basically without a hitch. It's like anything else. If the rehearsal is lousy, the show will be great. And we've been very fortunate that we've had some pretty good shows the last couple of years.
And there's nobody standing.
I have heard that the best wages in Scottish Rite are paid right here in Reading. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Second to none. Second to none. But I'm still waiting for my first one. But I was told exactly what you said.
And there's nobody standing up there reading their parts.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. Do you memorize them?
Now, when Scott was giving me the tour, I saw a photo in the back of Charlton Heston.
Yes.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about what was going on there?
Well, he happened to be in the air, and he came here, and they took a picture of him, and he was in our cathedral.
Okay.
And well, he is a brother.
And did he autograph something back there?
I don't know. He did. I assume he did. The picture's autographed.
No, he autographed the 10 Commandments.
Oh, did he? I didn't see. That's Scott's property department.
Yeah, well, I just thought it was really neat.
I only see that when they bring it out and show it to me.
I think he was in a movie that involved that or something, maybe.
Absolutely, I think so. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So when's the next reunion? Spring?
Yes. You know the date?
Any idea?
May sometime. The third Saturday in May. Usually, that's
have
when
they decided what degrees they're putting on yet?
Yes, but I don't have that list with me. There's 8 or 10.
4, 5, 20. I know it's 10 different degrees. Okay. 4th and actually 32nd, the bookends.
And actually, that's an awful lot of degrees for one day.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jason and I were just in the Valley of Lancaster. We were in the 8th degree.
We were in the 8th, but can't talk about that.
Well, we can't talk about what our job was.
We can't talk about our character. That's right. We can't talk about our character. You can't disclose
2 of the 3.
Right. You can disclose 2. Who was in it and the degree, but you can't disclose your character. Or
there's some very complex rules.
You can disclose your character and the degree, but not the actor. Right.
That's why I'm the stage manager. I have nothing to do with that.
I learned it the hard way. I got my hand slapped.
Well, I'm glad you fellas are here.
Well, thank you.
Are you going to be here for next weekend also, or is it just this weekend?
I think this was the only.
This is the only time
slot you got. Okay.
Very happy to have you guys down there.
Thank you, and we're glad to be here.
Before I hand this over to somebody else, have all of you been on Santa Claus's lap yet?
No, but we're going to do it all at the same time.
You have your wish for Santa Claus? You know what?
Yeah, Larry's going to sit right in the middle.
There you go.
They haven't been on his lap, but they're on his list.
Oh, he's on
Santa smells like meat and cheese.
There you go.
He smells like Lebanon bologna.
All right, fellas. Well, it's a
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you. Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Pleasure being able to speak with you. I'm going to go get a couple of cookies now that you're talking about food, and I'm going to thank you that it's Christmas.
Thank you. Welcome back, folks. Did a little reshuffling here. I'm at the other end of the table, and we have another special guest. Is it Jim or James?
Jim's fine.
Jim Shaw, you are Lodge Secretary, or Valley Secretary.
Yes.
And you're also a district deputy, I hear.
I am.
For what district?
District 7.
Okay, so you don't have to...
For a few weeks yet. I'm retiring at the end of the year.
Was that 10 years?
5.
Oh, good for you. You got out early.
Early retirement.
After taking over the job here as secretary, it became quite a bit to juggle.
I bet. So how long have you been secretary here?
Since last October.
So what's the main part of your duties? What would the Valley Secretary, what are you responsible for?
Well, there are 2 major areas that I deal with. One is the membership. I take care of all the fraternal record keeping and keeping the members happy. The second part of my job is running this building, making sure all the maintenance is taken care of and everything's working the way it should. It's clean when it needs to be clean, and renting out the building for groups either in the banquet hall or the auditorium.
And that's obviously not that's a professional paid position.
Yes.
It's a real job. Yeah.
Yes.
Because that sounds like a lot of work for a volunteer thing.
Yeah, well, I used to be retired, yeah. It's a part-time job.
And do you openly associate with Jeff Moyer?
When I have to.
Anything?
Thanks, Pete. I deserve that.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So any big?
Well, Jeff and I have to say, Jeff and I are both past most wise masters.
Yes.
So we have a kinship.
Francis Marion Hiley Chapter, Knights of Rose Croix.
Where's that?
Here.
Oh, okay.
So, answer me this: I didn't realize until recently that some valleys will name their lodges, right? I had no idea. So say that name again.
Francis Marion Hiley Chapter, Knights of Rose Croix.
And do you know the rest of the names of the other three?
Well, it's Reading Lodge Perfection, Reading Consistory, and then C. Gilbert Steffi Council Princes of Jerusalem.
So this Steffi family, they must have donated a lot of money because Effort had just named their basement after a guy named Steffi.
I'm not sure if it's the same family or not.
No, okay.
Yeah, now, Charlie, you're talking about Charlie Steffi?
I believe so from Africa,
yeah. Because he was very active in this valley.
Okay. Yeah, so the Steffis just must be good Freemasons. Or at least good with a pen. So any big happenings coming up? Or is this the end of the season?
Well, Masonically, it's kind of the end of the season. We've just had our reunion on November 18th. That's the last thing until we have our stated meeting in January. But we do have a number of activities here at the cathedral.
You have the Nutcracker or something coming up?
The Nutcracker bout. Well, we have this unit, the holiday happenings this weekend and next weekend. Then the 16th and 17th, we have the Berks Ballet Theater presenting the Nutcracker. And this year they're having a live orchestra.
Oh, very nice.
Rather than the recorded music, the Reading Pops Orchestra will be accompanying them. We will have 2 concerts for the Reading Symphony here next year, which is a first. And we also have in February the Greater Kensington String Band coming up.
Oh, from like Mummers.
Mummers, yes.
Yeah, very nice.
To do a benefit concert for our Children's Dyslexia Center.
So, I got to ask, who's going to budge first so we don't have reunions on the same weekends between Reading and Harrisburg?
Not us.
It's a game of chicken. Nobody's going to blink until everybody's...
We were doing Saturdays way before Harrisburg.
Well, yes. Well, we started out, when I joined, we were doing Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday. And it gradually got cut back. Well, the spring reunions were only Friday and Saturday because we were in the old Raja Theater at the time, and the theater was too hot for 3 nights. Yeah. So to keep the guys cool, we only limited it to one night and then Saturday.
Well, you guys are doing some degrees that I don't have, and I'm not going to be able to come because, like you, I'll be working at the Valley of Harrisburg. But Pete just made friends with the Sovereign Grand Commander.
I did. Yeah, we enjoyed an adult beverage.
Maybe we have one of those business cards, and he said, anytime you need anything. Well, we need Reading to move their reunion.
This is his first year. I don't know if he wants to make all the valleys angry his first year. Maybe on his way out. Jim, thanks for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it. We appreciate you letting us into your house.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Well, at least into the porch.
Thanks for inviting me. It was an interesting experience.
We have another special guest here. We're here with Sue Heisek. Sue.
Yes.
what is your title here?
I am the director of the Children's Dyslexia Center here, housed in this Scottish Rite Cathedral.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the Learning Center does here?
Okay, so the Children's Dyslexia Center, dyslexia, first of all, you might want to know a little bit about dyslexia. It's a brain difference. It's not an intelligence problem. So when you speak to someone, 1 in 5 people are dyslexic. To some degree. Walt Disney was dyslexic. We can talk about famous dyslexic people too. 1 in 5 people have dyslexia, and it's a learning difference where phonological awareness or just understanding where sounds are in words and written language. It's something that it kind of gets lost in translation when you're trying to read text on a page. If you talk to someone who's dyslexic or gave them an oral test, there would be no problem. They would be able to answer your questions, boom, boom, boom. But if they have to read a question on a test, it goes into their brain, it has to get interpreted, they kind of get lost and may not answer the question correctly. Not that they don't know the answer.
And I guess everybody's condition is a little bit different. There's not
Correct.
like a blueprint for that
Correct.
Okay.
It happens along a spectrum, but how you can determine if someone has dyslexia, it's a psychological evaluation. They do a cognitive testing or an IQ testing, and usually the IQ testing, you see a very high intelligence, and when their academic achievement testing doesn't match, there's a big discrepancy, then that's when, and spelling is a big thing too. If they're a poor speller, that's sometimes an indication, almost always an indication when they have this IQ that's really high and this academic achievement, they're struggling. And then there's a self-esteem part of it too, because if they do bad on a spelling test, and then the other kids know, and then they start to have a self-esteem issue too.
So as far as if a child was getting into the program, like what is this after school? Is this?
It is after school. So if a child wants to, or a parent finds out about the center, or they're told that their child at school, sometimes schools won't say dyslexia, and that's a political thing that I won't address at this moment. But they call it a specific learning disability, and that's a big umbrella that dyslexia falls under. And so if your child is diagnosed, we send them an application. They fill out an application. It does run in families. It is a genetic thing. So we ask for a family history. So grandpa might have been dyslexic. A cousin might have been dyslexic. It could run on the parent's side of the family. It could run on the mother or the father's side of the family, or both, too, because 1 in 5. And so your question was, okay, so they send an application, and along with that, they send an evaluation from a psychologist, and that's where we look for that discrepancy. So it could be the school psychologist, or the parent could have had it done at a private psychologist, but school psychologists will do it, and it's cheaper. So we look for that discrepancy between cognitive and academic achievement, and when we see that, then we will accept a student onto our waiting list, and that's the sad thing. Children can attend the center totally free. The Scottish Rite Masons do all the fundraising. It costs $5,000 a year for a student to attend our center. We have to have trained tutors to do this. And it's graduate level work that the tutors do. And I train the tutors here. And in the Northern Masonic jurisdiction, there are 42 centers, I believe, at this time. And in Pennsylvania, we have 8 centers in the Scottish Rite buildings.
Wow. And how long are the kids in the program?
Usually 2 years. So, and they come twice a week for usually 2 years.
Okay.
Most times. And the greatest improvement we see in the first year, a lot of times kids, once they're remediated, they do better. They're accepted into gifted programs in their school, and they turn out to have just some creative side to them. Once they find what they really love, they find their passion in their life, then they become really good at it. They know every little thing about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I know in Lancaster we've had graduation ceremonies, and we've had some really outstanding results, and actually some kids that went on to college, university, even law school.
Yes.
And I think that's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, When was our ceremony here?
It was last May.
Yeah, with 10 graduates?
10 graduates this past year.
That was cool. It was. To listen to each instructor talk about the progress of each student, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I know you can be clinically diagnosed. I don't know if that's the right term, but you can
yes,
diagnose
that
with
is
it.
correct.
But I have heard that the Children's Dyslexia Center will take a child that presents with dyslexic-like tendencies, but isn't necessarily officially diagnosed. Is that true?
Well, they may not be officially diagnosed because it may say specific learning disability, but we're looking for that difference between the cognitive and the academic achievement.
Okay.
It's usually a struggling student, and a parent is looking for something to help that child. And actually, my son attended the center when he was in 9th and 10th grade. And when he was in 5th grade, I helped him so much with his homework. He has two older sisters that just didn't have any trouble. We sat for hours and did homework. And one day, the only thing I knew about dyslexia was this flipping of letters. And in 5th grade, I didn't think he should be flipping his letters around. So I went to the bus stop and I said to my friend Colleen, I said, Colleen, I think Max has dyslexia. And she said, oh, well, my cousin runs the Children's Dyslexia Center. So I said, at the Scottish Rite Cathedral. I said, well, get me the number. And I called, I got the application, and my son was accepted onto the waiting list in probably 6th grade. So he probably waited 3 years because he came in 9th and 10th grade. Right from swim practice, it's a struggle to get him there, but it did help him. And now he goes to RAC. He will finish next December, and then he plans to become a teacher. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great.
So yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle, but we found him, the help he needed here at the center.
How many students are currently in here locally?
Currently in the center, we have 14 students, but one is about to move to Tennessee on the middle of the 18th of this month. So we will be taking a student off of the waiting list in January because that tutor will have a spot available to tutor. The tutoring is very involved, and that takes an intense training too. And so, and also there's the after school time. We do have 6 tutoring rooms. We could possibly, if we were maxed out, we could probably serve 24 children. So.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for everything you're doing for that.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is one of the most vivid, best descriptions of the program, and I do thank you for that.
You are welcome.
Really, it was great having you.
All right, thanks. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And we are back. So I just sat in and listened to some of the tuba Christmas music. Yeah.
Is it awful or is it awesome?
It was tubular. It was tube-tastic.
Totally tubular.
It was totally tubular.
So we have a really special guest.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up, but not before we talk to this guy.
We have Father Christmas.
We do.
Old Saint Nick.
Just call me Santa. That's fine. Don't need to be all formal.
Well, Santa, thank you for visiting Reading. And surprised because, there's a lot of people in the naughty list in this area.
Well, that's where you need to do the most work, where there's the most naughty.
Anything exciting happening this year? Any new trends and toys or?
Well, there's all kinds of trends and toys that I am totally unfamiliar with, which I have elves for that. They keep on top of that. I have some. There was some young ladies that came forward. They wanted a new iPhone, so I sent them off to my elves in Cupertino to hook them up. And, I have some elves in York and out in Milwaukee for some of the older folks here that want new bikes. I don't deliver that stuff. They got to buy their own. So.
Miller Lite is flown in from Milwaukee daily, I believe.
Really? How does it get to the North Pole?
I don't know.
Man, that's a good question.
So Santa.
Airlift.
Santa, how many kids did you console tonight?
How many? Well, I don't know. How many were here?
I don't know.
All of them. How's that? That's the answer I'll give you.
550.
Wow.
551.
It was a light
tonight.
night.
So Santa,
we're trying to do sign language. 551 people were here.
565 folks. Wow.
Close.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Of which many of them were very short. Those are the ones I concerned myself about.
Now you have a dual membership, not just the North Pole Lodge. You are also a member of a lodge down here.
Yes, I am.
Which lodge are you a member of here in Pennsylvania?
I am a member and a past master of Reading Lodge number 549.
Well, that's wonderful. Now you had to use like a nom de plume.
Yes, I go by an entirely different name, which. When you're not Santa Claus, when you're Santa Claus, you're very busy until the 25th of December, and then it kind of drops off precipitously at that point. So after that, then I have a different name, and I dress differently, and it's my gig.
So I see Santa quite often. We're in many different groups together.
Oh, yes.
You recently got your... the Royal Order of Scotland.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Oh, that was wonderful. I was down in Washington and went down there and became a member of that august body with a bunch of other people that I know, a wonderful gentleman. And it was a pleasure and an honor for me to have become involved. Santa is a little bit Scottish, just like he's a little bit everything. So,
but you can't exactly wear like red.
I can wear a Stuart tartan. That's right.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incidentally, I do have an interview with Santa.
Yes, he did interview Santa.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
Yeah. Why?
Larry did something tonight.
Right after all the women were sitting on his lap.
Yes, Santa likes those moments when it's the mothers that come over to see Santa, not just the kids.
Mrs. Claus, she's tied up back at the pole.
Mrs. Claus does all the organizing. Santa does all the socializing. It really works out.
You got to be careful because
I work one night a year.
You'll be in the unemployment line with Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
Keep that
up. They kissed me. I didn't kiss them.
It's probably not the best year to hang the mistletoe around the office.
That's right.
Just saying.
It's going to get worse.
I know we don't have it around the Masonic Light podcast studios since the incident.
No. And looking at the fellas here, that's a good thing. I wouldn't want to see any mistletoe hanging. It'd be very uncomfortable.
Well, thank you, Santa. Thank you for volunteering to help out with the kids tonight.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak into the strange machines that you have here. In the good old days, we made toys out of wood. Not so much anymore. Lost art.
Well, Amish kids are about 15 miles away.
They're not
That's
big
a good
on
target audience
They're
for
not
you.
big on Christmas and Santa Claus, though, oddly enough.
In fact, they pretty much like cell phones.
That's it. They're not impressed with the elves in Cupertino. Doesn't mean anything to them.
We should go home, Pete.
Let's go home.
We should say thank you to a few people.
All right.
In the Valley of Reading.
You go first.
Well, first we'd like to thank the Valley of Reading for inviting us up for their I don't even know what this is called, Jeff.
Are you going to play the music with us?
Holiday happenings.
Holiday happenings.
Holiday happenings.
And the gentleman who invited us up, I forget his last name already. You got to do this one, Pete.
Scott Helm.
Scott Helm. Why do you say it like a question? I know it's Scott. That's his last name.
He's a Grotto member.
Isn't it Helms with an S?
Helm.
Oh.
Scott Helm. One Helm.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Past master of Scarrett Lodge in the Podunk in the hinterlands.
Scarrett Lodge.
Right, and when you guys merge lodges, you'll be Scarrett Lodge.
And Jeff Moyer, once again, is with us. He does something here in the Valley of Reading.
Past most wise master.
Okay. So, and 33rd almost.
Almost.
32.62.
No, 32 and 3/24.
Perfect. And we have Santa, who's also known as, in some circles, as Ray. Thank you for visiting.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And Larry, you really didn't do much, but thanks for driving us.
Hey, it feels good not to carry the whole show on my shoulders. Oh.
Ooh.
And wow, I guess that's it.
That kind of put the clamps and shut it down real fast.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Larry, usually you take us out. You got to give us a little taste. So.
Yeah. It's time to go home. Time to go home, guys. Again, I'm going to, like Pete, repeat. want to thanks. I'm losing my voice. Where's the?
We didn't bring
the bourbon. Where's the bourbon?
We didn't bring it to this
Didn't
room.
bring it. Okay. I want to give again thanks to the. Where are we at tonight?
Valley of Reading.
Reading. Yeah, Valley of Reading, Scottish Rite Cathedral, and for inviting us. And, the gal
Oh my
who
God,
runs the school here said, "Are we coming back next year?" I said, "Well, it depends."
Larry,
You got to hurry, Larry. Come on.
Anyway,
Larry, we need an intervention.
Anyway, special thanks to Jason Lewis, our producer, and to Scott Helm for having us here and putting up with us all night long. My good friend Jeff Moyer, really, he's a great guy. And his lovely wife, who she's not here right now.
She's in the
I guess
tuba
I don't
show.
get a goodbye hug.
No, she'll be out soon. She's watching the tubas, listening to tubas.
And again, I have nothing really further to add. It's been a great night.
Thanks, Larry. It's been a great show.
It's taken you 10 minutes to say I have nothing to offer.
Do you know the brew stick?
Oh my God.
Has he been drinking when we're not watching?
Can you believe the abuse I had to take because I drove here tonight? It was horrendous.
I heard your driving was horrendous.
My feelings are hurt.
Hey, Pete.
Let's just fade this out, Jason.
You know what? This is Jason Lewis.
This is Peter Jerry.
This is Larry Maris.
This is Jeff Moyer.
And this is Santa.
Have a good night. Thanks for listening.